And we're live. Okay, so I have one of my clients here, Michelle Bridger. I'm super excited to be having this conversation with her. Hey! We're going to take a look at how she has continued to break records, blow her mind with her sales results, even in these uncertain times. And I'm super, super excited about this because she's in a specific industry, and I'm going to let her introduce herself in just a second. That I feel like a lot of people feel like, I'm not quite sure if what Shameca does pertains to me. So, Michelle, why don't you tell them who you are and how you serve the world?
Hey, so I'm so glad to be here. So I'm Michelle Bridger. I own a Facebook advertising agency. I have a team, a very capable team that supports me, and we get amazing results. We work with people who are authors, speakers, coaches, consultants, and even a few e-commerce brands. And we bring in a consistently really high a return on ad spends. I'm an industry leader, been at this for a very long time, and love to give and serve my clients at the highest level possible to really help them have greater impact. So we've been able to work with people like Allison Prince, and we were able to bring in 4.2 million in 19 months. We've worked with Julie Stoyan to take her to six-figure months. We've just worked with such a variety of authors and coaches. We've worked with a real estate coach just even recently and brought in 2.8 million in 5 months. And even worked with Shameca. So that was such a pleasure in the last couple months. And so we've run challenges lately. We've run all kinds of evergreen, just different promotions. But it's just been so fulfilling and amazing to continue to be able to serve at such a level and have a thriving business even amid a pandemic. So really excited to be able to just still thrive in these times.
So, Michelle, I'm excited to have you. And as you guys can tell, she's a total badass at what she does. She's talking Facebook ads and helping people bring in millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. We brought in over $130,000 after using Michelle to run our Facebook ads. And so, here's the reason. There's a couple of reasons why I wanted to do this case study with Michelle. Let's say 3 reasons. Okay. So, the first reason is because she's amazing and incredible, and I want you guys to meet her. So let's call it 4. The first reason is we're very, very different, if you cannot tell, right? Michelle, I would say, would be more conservative than I am, not politically. I'm just saying as a person, right? I'm an extrovert. Are you an introvert, Michelle? I don't even know. Okay. She's an introvert. And I know that people often will ask, well, will this work for me? Or Shameca, I'm not like you. And so I want to have a conversation around that. And because of the industry she's in, you do done for you services. And so oftentimes people with done for you services have all these rules that they think they have to have in order to get a client. And so we're going to talk about some of those, and hopefully Michelle will debunk some of those myths and those rules that you have for yourself. But let's start here. Let's talk about the introvert extrovert thing.
Yeah.
Actually, let's go back. I want to go back to when we first met, because we kind of met online by somebody referred you to me.
Yeah.
And then you showed up at my live event. And so I want to talk about that.
Yeah. So someone that you knew tagged me an ad copy. It wasn't even ad copy. It was just copy that you had written on your wall. And I read it, and I went to your sales page, and I cried. So I knew that it was just really strong, and that it really spoke to me. And I'm like, darn, I wasn't planning on going to a live event in November. And so, but the way that you wrote things and how you spoke to the heart, I hadn't had that in a very long time. And so I showed up at your live event. And so that's how we connected. And we chatted a couple times back and forth. And And then I made the decision to come.
Awesome. And then you joined my mastermind, which is Next Level Authority, which is a program that you're currently in. And so this leads me to this space of what were some of the things that you were hoping you would be able to do, like moving forward? What were some of your goals, your hopes, your dreams, stepping into Next Level Authority?
Yeah, it's a great question. So it's easy for me to feel like I'm on a hamster wheel. Um, and it's common when you're doing done first use services that you get clients, you lose clients, you get clients and you lose clients. And I can go through stages where I feel like I'm just on that hamster wheel of not making a lot of progress, just like as much as you're trying. So the income stays, relatively the same, or maybe goes up a little. And I was looking for ways to get off the hamster wheel. What I like about what you do is that you work on mindset, and the tactics are so important, but they're not nearly, they pale in comparison to the mindset. And so I love that even before we jumped on the call here, that you are coaching me on mindset. And that's, I love that. I got a little free coaching before the call of, now, Michelle, you got to think about it this way. And you were right. And so the mindset is so important. And I love that that's how you always lead. And because I saw how that's how you lead, I know that's what I need is the mindset. I can hire out the tactics. I have an amazing team. It's all in place. We're systemized, but I need the mindset to becoming the person that I need to be to step into more of my power, to be able to serve my clients at a higher level and fulfill my dreams and my goals. So kind of a long answer to your question, but
No, I love it. I love it. So that's a beautiful segue because you said your step into your power. And so, like I said earlier, we're very different in many, many ways. But you're introverted. I'm very extroverted. And oftentimes people watch me and they watch my strategies and they're thinking, okay, I would have to be like Shameca or do it like Shameca does. And I have this just powerful belief that power comes in different shapes and forms. The Grand Canyon was carved from the power of a persistent flow of water, right? Just coming through. So it's not always going to be loud and in your face and straight to the point like I am. And it's about owning your own power. So can you just share like your journey for somebody who may be introverted like you? What's your journey of understanding what your power is and where are you now with it?
Oh, in the last 10 years, I'm a radically different person than I was. So I've been on a tremendous journey of being able to understand my own value and being able to stand in that. And it's just one, sometimes small step, sometimes very large step to move forward in that. An example of that is that we always tell my clients, we need these videos from you. And I'd be like, oh, that person does great on video. This client's gonna, does great video. And it's like, I just don't do video. Like, it just wasn't like within me to be able to do it. And if I had to do it, I actually enjoy interviews like this, so when it's interactive, I could do it. But like putting a video on, just doing them and doing lives was just like something that just like, it wasn't even something that I could do. And so I did some inner work, looked at some lies that I was believing. This was just late last fall. And once I worked past those, like doing video is like, I just jump on and do a video. Like it's become like no big deal to do video. And I really enjoy it. And now that I'm showing up in that way and people can feel my energy more, they say it all the time, like, oh, I see that how you have a calming effect. And my clients say that a lot, that I have a calming effect, that that they're seeing, I like your steadiness, I like your energy, I get a feel for you. They use words sort of like that. They especially use the word calm.
Yeah.
In inside store, I'm a calm on the outside sometimes. So, and I mention that because it's so now people are getting a feel for me, and it's made such a difference in my business. I've judged myself severely often because it's like, oh, I'm not extroverted enough, or I wish I was like or so outgoing. Not that I'm saying they're like but but I've just really judged myself at times for not being more outgoing, or being more this way or more that way, or the life of the party, and I'm just not. But that doesn't mean that I'm not a very capable businesswoman,
Right.
who can do exceptional things, and just accepting that with grace.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean you're not powerful because you're not loud or big or in your face, right? We call you the quiet storm inside of our mastermind. You have a quiet power about you. Even watching you sitting here, there's a power to just the way you're speaking and engaging even right now. And I think the beautiful thing is watching you take full ownership of that it gets to show up in different ways. And the more you own it, the more amazing things I see come your way. And so I want to talk about, I'm going to pull out my clapper because I want to celebrate you really quick. So I want to talk about your June right now, because it's actually more than the revenue amount. It's the ease at which you're creating things now and how they're showing up that I really, really love. And so we're 2 weeks into, actually the very first week, you were already at $40,000 in revenue. And I was like, oh, Michelle. And then just last week, you closed a $28,000 paid in full sale.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about that for a couple of reasons, but I want to celebrate it too. So yay! I want to talk about that for a few reasons. One, we're in the midst of craziness, right? There's a pandemic. There are people who are pulling back from their business because there's a race conversation going on. And so we would call these uncertain times, right? And I want to talk about it because of the industry that you're in. There is one of the biggest myths that I feel from people who are contractors, who are consultants, who do done for you type services. One of the biggest myths, and I think there's a couple more that I want to talk about, but one of the biggest myths I hear from them is that they have to do month to month services. People they need to stretch it out. And there's never even this opportunity to give people,
Right.
that people have to pay them in full. So can you just share how your mindset has shifted around that, and maybe even anything that you want to share to for anyone else who's in a similar industry as you?
Yeah. So it shifted my belief because in my industry, a Facebook ads agency, or whether you're a YouTube agency or whatever type of done for you services are, you have an agreement, but it's always with the not always, but with the understanding like, ooh, can this agency get me results? And so I haven't been offering, if you pay for 6 months in full, there'll be a small discount or something like that. It's never been on my radar to even offer it, because I also fall into that mindset of, I've got to prove myself. I've got to prove myself. I've got to keep climbing up this mountain, Clayton. I've got to prove it. I got to prove it. But I have proved it. You reminded me that.
And over and over again.
You reminded me that I have proven myself, like over and over and over. I just have so many case studies and testimonials. And when I send those, that tells people that I have an exceptional track record, and I haven't changed. Our results have only gotten better. The care we take of clients has only gotten better. So it helped change my mindset to see that that's a possibility. So I was excited about that. So yeah.
That's exciting. So you made me think about something because you were talking about your results and you have a lot of them. And one of the things that I saw that was missing when you stepped into next level authority was that you weren't really talking about the results that you get clients. And I want to just find out if there was did you have any underlying mindset issues about really, really like celebrating or showing, like, I work with this client and I work with this client and we got these results. And where are you now with that?
I'm much more visible. So you've helped me, pushed me out of the nest in a sense to do that. So to share them on Facebook and to share them, I think more in a strategic, powerful way, more consistently and using them more in sales calls, but especially being able to post them on Facebook because, one of the things it does is help me to celebrate it because, it's a lot of hard work to do this and I need to stay in the celebration mode. And then it also just keeps me top of mind. But I guess the bottom line is just being braver about sharing my results.
Mm-hmm.
Because people hire agencies that they can trust and we can trust it. I just needed to show it more.
Mm-hmm. You made me think about something as you were talking earlier, and I want to circle back to you allowing yourself to be paid in full. Because oftentimes I'll run across people, it doesn't matter what industry they're in, they want to make more money in their business, they want to bring in more revenue, but they have all these beliefs that are roadblocks to them being able to do that. And the decision that you're going to do it means being open to what that looks like. So you had to decide that, hey, I'm going to offer people the ability to pay me in full. Hey, if I want, $100,000 clients and I have to create a $100,000 program, and next step is I have to offer it to someone. And so were there any courage factors other than, because you mentioned earlier that you felt like you had to prove yourself, right? And then I reminded you that you had proven yourself already, and so that allowed you to be able to let someone pay you larger sums of money up front. But were there any other courage factors to doing that?
Asking for it. And getting quiet. So asking for it and getting quiet and being open to having that quiet space in the call.
Mm-hmm.
And being open to I'm trying to think of what else, but I think that it's a mind shift on my part because my client, and I'm going to plug in my computer as I talk here. So I just looked and I have a low battery. So I'll just fix this in the middle of the call right here. So there we go. It's bigger than just a technique. It's a mindset. It's who I am and am I deserving? And so that's been something that I've been looking at and spending time on. Where am I believing the lie that I'm not deserving of good things, not deserving of it being easy? And so how does that play out in all areas of my life? And so not just business, but in all areas of my life.
I'm going to write this down because I think that's a super powerful question that I want people to actually get. Where are you believing that you aren't deserving? This probably isn't spelled right. Don't judge me. Oh, yeah, it's not spelled right. Here we go. We fixed it. Boom. So I want you guys to actually write that down, because a lot of growth in business comes down to a couple of things. It comes down to deservability. It comes down to worthiness. It comes down to maybe having shame, self-doubt, all of those things. And so where are you believing that you aren't deserving of clients who pay you in full for larger and larger sums of money, clients who invest at a higher level with you, consistent clients, all types of things? Where are you feeling or believing, not feeling, believing that you aren't deserving? Michelle, that's so powerful. You said something else earlier, and I'm going to put up Bissy's comment. She said, I love that. It's in who you are more than the technique. And I say this all the time. It's about who you be, right? It's not about the strategy. Until you get who you be right, no amount of strategy will help you sell more. And that's more money to more people and for more at higher price points. It won't happen. You got to get you right. But you said one of the things that you had to do is ask for it. And I just mentioned that earlier. So ask for it and then get quiet. So you said it very, very nicely. So basically what she's saying is on her sales call, she had to ask for that dollar amount or give people the opportunity to pay her full. And then she had to shut her mouth. It's an uncomfortable space to wait to see what's going on with your prospect in a sales call, right? And you have to be comfortable in your own skin to do that. You have to care about the other person and what they actually think, because what's actually happening in most people's mind is mindset chatter. Oh, they're thinking this. We're assigning meaning to their silence as opposed to allowing them to process. What are some of your tips and techniques about getting quiet and being in the uncomfortableness? Because I always say you have to be willing to be even more uncomfortable than your prospect is when it comes to that decision-making process.
Well, I'm a work in progress on this, but I do know that I can think of a sales call that I had, not this one that I closed, but a different one, and I was just so good in that call about, like, she would say something and she'd have a question, and then I'd ask her a question back, and then just gave her the space to process in that call, because we were deciding, like, is it time now for ads, or does she need to create an upsell first? And so I think that she needed on that call, I can think of this one in particular, where just me getting quiet, asking her a question back and letting her just process rather than just chattering was so helpful to her to think through, the different, and then she'd come back with a question, I'd ask a question back, and then allow her that processing time. I think it's a grace-filled conversation, and it's hard to get quiet, but it also it's very honoring to your prospect to give them time to think. So, and again, it's something that I'm wanting to refine in my own self, learning to ask more questions instead of just talk.
Yeah.
In parenting and
in life, right?
In life and in sales calls. So yeah.
I love that answer, because I believe that right now, because we are in what everyone's calling uncertain times, which is what I titled this, I think now more than ever, it's important for those of us who are inviting people to take a step during these times into the next level thing that they desire to have. People wanting to build bigger businesses and using Facebook ads, people wanting to have better relationships, people wanting to have their better bodies, all of those things that people are desiring to have. If we're going to invite them in times of uncertainty, we have to allow them the space to actually process those decisions. And sometimes it happens, it should happen mostly on the call. That's what helps you get to, like, a decision in that call, is giving them the opportunity to process. So I think that's really apropos for right now. I'm going to ask you one last question before we wrap this up. When you look at someone, or if you were to think about someone who's like you, maybe they're introverted, maybe they're a done-for-you service provider or a consultant of some sort. And if you think about somebody who's on a similar journey as you, I would say, can you give them 3 of the most powerful learnings that you've had in this journey of really owning your own power and allowing yourself to do things a little bit differently than you have before? And then what are some encouraging words that you would like to leave them with?
Okay. So you said 3? It's like 3
or 1 or whatever comes up, but I think you have 3.
So for me, first and foremost, I know that my business is from the Lord. And so I am a woman of prayer. And so my business is run in that way. So I pray over my decisions. Yesterday, something didn't feel right in my spirit, if you will, and I sat with that and was able to adjust something in business today to make the change I felt like I needed to do. So that is the foundation of what I do, and so that's my encouragement is to look at that and have a firm foundation of your business. And it gives you the why of why you're in business.
Mm-hmm.
And it helps to fulfill the purpose that you have. Then tenacity is another one. It's not a one and done, and it's a step by step by step by step by step. And too often we think it doesn't look a certain way, or that we didn't achieve. So this is one that I fall into all too often, because even like looking at other people online, oh, look how far ahead they are, or look how this, or and that's a trap that I fall into myself. And so
I know you're not alone.
You can join me
Yes.
in not looking there, but just that it's a process. So it's been a process for me. I've been doing this for 7 years, and keep your reputation intact. So in my industry, like this week, I've already had 3 sales calls. On every one of those sales calls, they had a bad experience with another agency. And so they're coming to me to solve the problems. Mm-hmm. And so people come to me when they feel like they're getting a cookie cutter strategy, when another agency isn't leading the strategy, when they didn't get the results, and it gets, even worse things than like they botched their launches, they didn't turn on the ads, whatever it may be. But I've had sales calls that have said yes in the last 2 weeks, and they said it was because they could see my reputation. So make sure that when you do an exceptional job, people will keep referring to you, and that's gold. So your reputation is everything.
I love it. So I'm going to put these up. The first one Michelle said was have a firm foundation, right? Know why you're in business. Have that knowing and that why and that support structure. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that Michelle does is she prays about everything that she's doing in her business and in her life. The second one was, it's not one and done. I'm going to have to type this really fast. Thank God for typing class. It's not one and done. So the second one is, it's not one and done. It's a continuous journey, Business doesn't always go, right? There is some up and downs, and sometimes you're winning and sometimes you feel like you're losing. We have a saying in our community that it's always working, right? Everything that you do is creating something for you. Make sure that you're creating the things that you really want to be creating, right? It's never a one and done. It's a continual process of evolving and becoming, right? And then the last one is I'm just going to put rep. I'm going to speak slang here. Keep your rep intact. This is powerful for me because one of the things I teach my clients how to do is use their results and their reputation to do the selling for them, to make their sales calls easy, right? People are coming to you with problems that they had before because your reputation is intact and you're consistently showing them, hey, here's what we're just recently done. We're doing this right now. So it's super important. And I think there's 2 things to this. One, there is be in integrity, right, with how you run your business. But the second part of that is actually create results for your clients. Deliver what you promise. And Michelle, you definitely do that, which is no wonder that someone would pay you in full, right, for a 6-month service ahead of time, because your reputation precedes you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just take the floor for a minute and tell anybody.
I absolutely want you to.
about working with Shameca. I highly recommend it. So Shameca just loves on us, but she also holds us accountable, and she calls us out when we're, when she sees our stuff and she sees that we have a mindset issue or whatever. And so I just really appreciate that about you, Shameca. And you're just have the tactics to get us there, and the mindset that you can see in us. I'm not saying that right. And you help us to get the results from those tactics by helping us with our mindset. So mindset is the foundation of everything. Tactics alone won't get you. They'll get you to a certain level of business, but to the high levels, they won't take you to the next level that you need to go. And so I've been so grateful to be part of Shameca's community, because of what it's done for me and how she's helped me to be more visible. Being more visible has equated to a lot more business. So that's been lovely.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And I want to say this, guys, if you're looking for an ad strategist, Michelle's who I've been using. So connect with Michelle and her team. They're awesome and amazing, and they know what the heck they're doing. That's the most important part, right?
Yeah.
I just want to encourage you all that no matter what it looks like with your eyes, my clients and Michelle is like proof positive of that. During this whole season since March and the beginning of this year, have been creating breakthrough results for themselves and their businesses, consistent results in their businesses, having huge six-figure months, having 40, 50, $50,000 weeks, clients who are paying them huge sums of money because they stand in integrity in what they do, but they're focused. They're focused. They're focused. They're focused on what their purpose is. They're focused on why they're here in the world and on this planet. And they're trying to serve as many people as possible. So the title of this entire thing was, let's have a conversation about being focused and creating sales in uncertain times. And as Michelle's been saying over and over and over again, mindset is the key. The last thing I want to do before we take off is celebrate you one last time, because you're having an amazing month and I am so freaking proud of you. So the quiet storm is in the house. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. And I'll see you next time when we go live.
Perfect. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching my show, my channel. Here's what I want you to do. If you really love what you've been listening to, I want you to subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment. No, really, leave a comment. Like right now. I'm not gonna stop talking until you leave a comment. Seriously, leave a comment.